envision an Africa where Africans lead the world in innovation. This is an Africa where Africans identify our own challenges and develop new and innovative ways to address pressing challenges that we have. We come up with new ways to tackle disease, to tackle climate change, to tackle waste, to tackle issues in agriculture and post-harvest losses, but we do it our own way.
Just because you're a leader doesn't mean there are nothing to learn from people that you're leading. I always learn from the people I work with. I always learn from my friends.
So how did I get from mechanical engineering to here, the African Center for Economic Transformation? Well, first of all, you should know that outside of Innovate Ghana, I also work at the African Center for Economic Transformation as the Senior Manager for Innovation and Infrastructure. I decided that I really needed to understand the context of the enabling environment that allows innovation to thrive. And I also wanted to be able to influence that so that while we are promoting young innovators and engineers to actually go into their communities and work, on the other side, we are also sort of influencing policy at the national level to help them do exactly what they're doing. We're thinking and we're doing, as Asad says, we're a think and do tank.
My name is Betelhem Dessie. I am the CEO of iCode Anyone Can Code and Chief Advisor at iCode Labs. Usually I work on projects that I design myself. They're usually related to either education or solving problems in education, healthcare, or agriculture using technology. So it usually has to do with how can I utilize the skill sets I have in technology to solve the pressing problems we have. So I like challenges, I like designing solutions for them. So usually the projects I develop or start with are things I find interesting or things I feel like would change the environment for the better.
I grew up in a family of scientists. My dad is a chemist and a professor. My mom is a biochemist and a doctor. So I grew up naturally in an environment where STEM was not anything new. I was used to it and was sort of seamlessly integrated into my education. I grew up in both Ghana and the US. In the US, I grew up in a city that produced a lot of cars in Detroit, Michigan. And so I was surrounded by the automotive industry and what they could do. And naturally, it was fascinating to me. And so I wanted to be involved in that. I wanted to design cars. I think my university was particularly forward-thinking in the sense that they recognized there weren't very many women in the field, and they actually set a target that they wanted to increase the women in their engineering programs to this much. So they were very much conscious of that and putting in place programs to support us.
I wanted to be part of tech when I first started making money with it when I was 9 years old. So since then, I valued the freedom that it gave me to work on tech, but also to generate revenue from it. The first job I ever had was at my father's shop. I wouldn't say it was a job because it was not intentional. I was just at his shop, doing things. But I made my first money at the shop. I was a kid, I started out very early, so people didn't take me seriously a lot of the times. But I guess that's most of it. I had to learn, I had to, grow, and I had to earn my place in the tech world, especially.
So now this is what I have designed to perform. And there is this small passive field here.
With Innovate Ghana, as I mentioned, there are 3 pillars, right? Ideate, create, and develop. The first, ideate, meaning that we are creating students who can think creatively and develop creative problems to a lot of the challenges that we solve. And so in that sense, we are changing mindsets, we are changing the way they think and how they approach problems that they encounter every day. Create in the sense that we are trying to not just come up with, ideate, but we want to eventually turn these solutions into real products and services that actually change society. While they're learning some of the basics of how a robot works, from the sensors to the controller to the actions that it does, it moves up and down, what is it actually being used for? What's the mission that it's accomplishing? 2 of our teams today, one talked about using a robot to pick produce and process it so that we reduce post-harvest losses. Another looked at COVID and say, can our robot measure the temperature so we reduce the spread of disease?
I've had awards from the ICT exhibitions that were being conducted, Outstanding Girl of the Year from the Girls Award, Tech Maker, Best Change Tech Maker, I believe, from the Booking.com Tech Playmakers Award. Best Role Model, I believe.
Africa is always seen as sort of like the little brother, little sister, because we have so many challenges and so many issues, and the narrative around us is all about poverty, and it was jarring to me because having grown up here, I know how much talent is here. I know how smart people are. I know the kinds of resources we have. And I knew that sometimes it just takes a little bit of a mindset shift or a mindset change to get us to begin focusing on our solutions to our challenges.
I see leadership from a point of nurturing, from a point of having empathy, but also making sure that your team is motivated and always encouraged to do something and achieve towards a common vision and goal. I usually try to give you just an overview of what the company's about, what we're doing, but then I let people come up with their own ways of finding solutions and finding methods of implementation. The thing is to level the ground, just to start with, I'm a human and you're a human too, so that's a good starting point, rather than saying, we have all of these things that are bringing with us, which are actually really valuable when we get into what we're working on. But I think it's really important to level the ground at first without having no assumptions, no stereotypes, and then trying to learn and trying to listen what others are bringing to the table.
Ideally, there would need to be some sort of motors at the hinges to help it walk, if that's what we wanted to do. We love to see our participants, both students, mentors, actually take what they've learned in the program and use it beyond us, right? So in some cases you have students like Irama who have actually taken their library projects and continue to try and implement them. As far as I know, she's even gotten some funding from Harvard and other places to try and actually implement the library, which is excellent to see. You have mentors like Sandy who, joined us from a different program, came, picked up a little bit from Innovate, had their own experience, and have, taken that and flown with it.
We're coming up with new projects that improve people's lives. We're building businesses that are solving unemployment, right? That are giving people jobs, and creating a better future for Africa and positioning Africa as a continent that's not just getting from others, but also that becomes a standard for innovation. I mean, look at mobile technology. Africa is the lead in mobile money transactions. Nobody would have ever thought that, but we used what we had. We didn't have our computers, we had our phones, and we innovated with that, and now we are leading the world in mobile money transactions. We can do that and more, and make Africa the Africa we want, and innovate in our own way.
I want to reach more children. I want to impact more youth. I want to create spaces where they have access not only to technology, but technology education to make their lives better. So as many kids I can reach, and especially with the focus in Ethiopia.